Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Good morning from Uncle Lou. Yep, that's right, it's me, Uncle Lou, live for you on LouTube today. Yep. Hey, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. I'm gonna go through and preview all the non-SEC games today. I did SEC in a video by itself. What was that, yesterday or the day before? I'm going to do the rest of the top 25 today. So every team that's ranked in the top 25, I'll talk about that game just a little bit, except for the SEC ones, like I said, which I already did. Just going to go in the order that they're being played. That's the easiest way for Uncle Lou to go ahead and do this. Yep. How you doing, by the way? Doing good? Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. Yep, there is one game tonight with top 25. Number 20, Stanford at Oregon State. Stanford, big. Oregon State's terrible. I think they have one win this year. Oregon State, not a good team at all. Now, you hear me talking a lot of these prediction videos about how it can be tricky for a ranked team to play on the road during the week against an unranked team, which is true. It can be tricky, but not this tricky. Stanford wins this game big. I think they're a 3-touchdown favorite. That's probably about right. Not sure I would bet Stanford in this situation to cover the 21, but they're going to win the game. Don't worry about that. Tomorrow night, another ranked game. Tulane at number 24. Memphis. Yep, Memphis about a 10-point favorite, I think. Memphis, a pretty good team. They have a win over UCLA. Not sure if that's saying a whole lot, though, because the Pac-12 is garbage. Yeah, of course it is. Tulane at Memphis. Memphis only lost this year to Central Florida. More on them in a minute. But Central Florida's a good team. Undefeated. Yep, they have to be. South Florida, good too. What was that? Central Florida, undefeated. South Florida, undefeated. Miami, undefeated. Florida and Florida State, 5 wins combined. Florida's the 5th best team in the state of Florida. I know Florida State's look bad, but let's be real, they'll probably beat the Gators. Anyway, getting off track here. Memphis wins this game. They go ahead and cover, too. You can take 10.5 and give the 10.5 in that one. Without a problem. That's a home game for them. All right, then the Saturday games. We'll start off with the early games. Number 8, Miami at North Carolina. What happened to North Carolina? Well, they lost Mitch Trubisky. That's number 1. What else? They had some good running backs. Keyword had. North Carolina's a terrible team. Miami's going to win this game. What is Miami favored by? 20? They won't beat them by 20. It'll be a miracle fourth quarter comeback like every other Miami win this year. But Miami will win this game. Don't worry about that. Now, road gets a little trickier for Miami the next couple of weeks. They got, who do they play? I think they play Notre Dame and Virginia Tech coming up here in the next 2 weeks. Don't want to give anything away with that. But they're losing both of those games, ain't they? Miami won't beat those teams. But they'll stay undefeated this week with a win against North Carolina. Yep, they have to. Number 11, Oklahoma State at number 22, West Virginia. Now, this is going to be a good game. Might be 200 points scored in this game. Neither one of these teams cares anything at all about defense. The only reason they even put a defense on the field, I guess, is because you have to. I don't know. This will be a track meet. West Virginia's a pretty good team. They lost to Virginia Tech, but Virginia Tech's not a bad team either. Let's just be real. They're 5-2. They also lost to TCU. So West Virginia has 2 losses to teams with a total of 1 loss between them. TCU undefeated, Virginia Tech the 1 loss to Clemson. So West Virginia not a bad team. Oklahoma State number 11 sitting at 6-1. They also lost to TCU. West Virginia actually kept it closer with TCU than Oklahoma State did. The spread in this game is Oklahoma State is favored by 7.5. I probably wouldn't bet that here. That hook will probably end up getting you. That's the 0.5 if you don't know. This will be a high-scoring game. Whoever has the ball last wins type of deal would be my guess. It's at West Virginia, so they got to give them a little bit of an edge there. If things don't go West Virginia's way, they'll be burning their couches. That's just what they do there. Yeah, but shoot. You know what? This is a tough one. I've been high on Oklahoma State. It's a game they got to win, ain't it? I'm going to pick Oklahoma State to win a close one. But this is one to... I'm not very confident in that, though. These track meets can go either way, but I'm going to pick Oklahoma State to win a close one here. Number 5, Wisconsin plays at the School of the Deaf and the Blind. And according to my schedule, that's who they've played every week of the season this year. They're playing at Illinois. They're a 26-point favorite. They'll win by 36. Wisconsin plays nobody. They get Michigan coming up here in a few weeks, but how good are they? Not very good. Yeah, most overpaid coach in America, Jim Harbaugh. He's got a windowless van, don't he? What a creep this guy is, spending night parties. Anyway, Wisconsin beats Illinois, kills them by 30-something points. Another weekend goes by where you don't hear anybody talk about an undefeated top 5 or 6 ranked Wisconsin because they're just playing straight dumpster juice again. Game of the week, number 2, Penn State. Number 6, Ohio State. In Columbus, in Ohio State. Let me just tell you something about Ohio State right now, okay? Ohio State has played 2 ranked teams this year. That's it. So you look at Ohio State's schedule, right? And you see all these 50-something to 14, 60-something to 17 wins, whatever it is, where they're beating people 40 and 50 points. Look, they've played 2 teams all year with a winning record. Army, who they smoked, and Oklahoma, who they got smoked by. They haven't, and that was, I mean, they're playing garbage teams. The last time I saw Oklahoma play a pretty good team, they got boat raced. I mean, Ohio State. The last time I saw Ohio State play a pretty good team, in fact, the last 2 times I saw Ohio State play a pretty good team, they got boat raced by Oklahoma this year. Clemson in the playoffs last year when they didn't score a single damn point in the playoff game. Penn State's on a roll. They just humiliated Michigan at home last week. Now they travel to Columbus. Game day will be there. It'll be a big game. Ohio State will be up for this game, no doubt. Ohio State's favored in this game. I don't understand that. I can tell you right now, there's no way I would bet Ohio State. What is it, a touchdown for Ohio State here? 6.5? Absolutely no way I would bet Ohio State to cover that 6.5. Is it possible they do? Yeah, of course, anything's possible. No way I'm betting that. You giving me Penn State plus almost a touchdown's worth of points, I'll take that. This game could go either way. I've been saying all since the offseason, this is probably the toughest 3 stretch of games for any team in America this year. We're talking about Penn State having to play Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State in 3 straight weeks. It's a tough stretch. I've been saying all along I don't think they can go undefeated through those 3. And I still think I'm probably right about that. But I'm still going to pick them to win. I'm probably going to pick them to win next week against Michigan State, too. So, I guess I'm sort of straddling the fence here, but I'm just not a believer in Ohio State. They're going to have to prove me wrong. Like I said, their schedule, they played a bunch of nobodies with losing records and beat them. Congratulations. You played one good team this year, Oklahoma, and you got pushed in. So, you got to show me that you can show up for a big game before I can pick you in one. So for that reason, I got to go with Penn State. And before anybody, and there's a couple of them that are going to get in the comment section and say, I just hate Ohio State, and I'm biased, and that's why blah, blah, blah. Look, I need Penn State to lose for Georgia to move up, okay? So give me a break with I'm biased. Look, listen, if Ohio State wins, that's good for UGA. Had some idiot in the comment section tell me that if Ohio State wins this weekend, they're moving to number 1. That's what someone told me. Negative, Ghost Rider. No, negative. You're not jumping any of the major 4 undefeated teams unless you're not jumping Alabama, Georgia, Penn State, or TCU unless one of those teams will lose. Now, obviously, you beat Penn State, that'll move you up. You're not moving ahead of TCU, Georgia, or Alabama until and if one of those teams loses. Deal with it! Yeah, but I'm picking the Nittany Lions to win there. I gotta go faster here. TCU, number 4 TCU at number 25 Iowa State. Tricky place to play, Ames, Iowa. Same Iowa State to beat Oklahoma a couple of weeks back. Not happening here. TCU's going to go in and handle business. They've been the most consistently good team in the Big 12 all year. I've said that a couple of times. and I feel like I need to say it again because it's just the reality of the situation. TCU is favored by 7. They win by more than that. This is easy money. Easy money. Take TCU. Give the 7 points. Number 16, Michigan State at Northwestern. This could be a close game. Northwestern, one of those teams you never really think much about, but they're not a terrible team. And Michigan State, not real sure what we're getting out of them. They're 6-1, took a beating to Notre Dame. A lot of teams have taken beatings to Notre Dame this year, though. Of course, one team didn't take a beating to Notre Dame. Man, Georgia Bulldog. Yeah, went ahead and beat them, had to, in South Bend. Yep, University of Georgia. We put the South in South Bend. Woo! Anyway, getting off topic again. Yep, Michigan State at Northwestern. I'm going to pick an upset here. Northwestern beats Sparty. Although I'm not very confident in that, but what the hell, you got to pick a couple of upsets every week, so there you go. UCLA at number 12, Washington. Why is Washington favored by 17.5 here? UCLA can score points. Problem is, they got no defense at all. I don't think UCLA can hold Washington. UCLA's defense is not going to be able to hold Washington enough to win this game. Not going to happen. I think 17.5 is too much, though. So I'm going to pick Washington to win this game, but if you want to bet on it, take UCLA in anything around 17 that you can get. If it's over 17, that's even better. Yep. Now, number 14, NC State at number 9, Notre Dame. Number 2 game of the week here. NC State, only one loss to South Carolina. How'd that happen? I don't know. Nobody knows. But anyway, point is they did, but that's their only loss. Notre Dame, similar to Penn State, coming off a huge home win last weekend. Now, Notre Dame gets the benefit of playing at home again this weekend. And I think in this game, that serves Notre Dame well. I expect Notre Dame to win this game. In fact, I don't think there's going to be that much of a drop-off against NC State. I look for Notre Dame to win this game without a problem. They're favored by 7. I think they covered a 7. This game will stay close, I think. I don't think this will be the blowout that the Southern Cal game was. This game will stay close for a while. Notre Dame will pull away in the end, beating NC State. NC State's going to get caught looking ahead. I think they have Clemson next week, which is a more important game for NC State than the Notre Dame game is. As the Notre Dame game doesn't have anything to do with the ACC, whereas that Clemson game could be for first place in the division. So that's my thought process there. Houston at South Florida and Austin Peay at Central Florida. South Florida and Central Florida are both undefeated. Neither one of them are going to lose a game until November 24th when they play each other, at which point one of them will lose. Have to. It's a scientific anomaly, if you will. South Florida got that Quentin Flowers, probably the best player in America that you don't know that much about. He likes to run around type quarterback, one of them type of deals. South Florida favored by 11 over Houston. Central Florida favored by so much over Austin Peay, there's not even a line on it. Both these teams will win. Both these teams will dominate. Neither one of these teams is losing a game until the last game of the year. Whoever wins that game is going to a New Year's Six Bowl. It's that simple. Of the group of Power 5, these are your 2 best teams right here, Central Florida and South Florida. A couple people in the comments section wanted me to talk about South Florida, so here I'm talking about South Florida. I'm talking about Central Florida too. I think Central Florida is the better of the 2 teams, but both teams are really, really good. Don't sleep on South Florida. They beat an SEC team in the bowl game last year. South Carolina, not saying much. A lot of people beat South Carolina, but point is, it was an SEC team, and they got that same quarterback back this year that ran wild on them last year. My prediction right now would be for Central Florida to win that game and make a New Year's Six Bowl. That could change between now and then, so I'll do a prediction when that comes around. But South Florida and Central Florida ranked 17th and 18th, respectively. Both roll this week without a problem. Duke at number 13, Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech favored by 15.5. Virginia Tech's only lost to Clemson. After this week, that'll still be the case. Duke's not any good. So Virginia Tech will win this game, no problem. Favored by 15.5. I would give the 15.5 here. Duke's just that bad, and Virginia Tech should roll. Georgia Tech at number 7, Clemson. Clemson favored by 14. Georgia Tech's a hard team to bet on or against. You never know. Look, I don't care how good a defense is. You never know how they're going to perform against this triple option that Georgia Tech runs. Now, when you play Georgia Tech every year, it gives you a little bit of an advantage over teams that don't, because as a coaching staff, you're at least used to preparing 1 week a year to face that circus middle school offense that Paul Johnson and Georgia Tech like to run. Clemson coming off an embarrassing loss at Syracuse 2 weeks ago. They were off this past week. News is Kelly Bryant's been cleared to practice this week, so I expect him to play. And let's be real, even if he wasn't cleared to play, Dabo Swinney would probably play him anyway, because Dabo Swinney does not care about the health or safety of his players. He only cares about winning games. That's it. So Kelly Bryant should be playing. Georgia Tech is not going to be able to keep up with Clemson in this game. They'll get some yards on the ground, Georgia Tech. They always do. They may even hit a pass or two and catch Clemson sleeping a time or two. Too much offense in this one for Georgia Tech. Clemson wins this game going away. What I say the spread was 14. I wouldn't bet. I just wouldn't bet this game. Like I said, it's too hard to tell what a defense is going to do against this option. I wouldn't bet this game, but Clemson wins. You can write that down if you want to, or just rewatch the video. That'll probably be easier. Texas Tech at Oklahoma. Yeah, Oklahoma wins this game without a problem. They're favored by about 3 touchdowns. Texas Tech, not a good team, floating right around 500. I don't remember whether they're 4-3 or 3-4. But point is, if you're a 500 team in the Big 12, that tells Uncle Lou you're not very good. Yeah, so Oklahoma dominates this game. It's at home for Oklahoma. They win without a problem. Last two here. Washington State at Arizona. Washington State's a 3-point favorite. Southern Cal at Arizona State. Southern Cal's a 3.5-point favorite. So you got two Arizona teams here, both playing at home. Arizona and Arizona State. Both are underdogs. Both getting 3 and 3.5 points from Washington State and Southern Cal. One of these Arizona teams is winning. One of these Arizona teams is losing. Let's see. Is Washington State going to beat Arizona, or is Southern Cal going to beat Arizona State? I think Washington State beats Arizona, and Arizona State beats Southern Cal. Because they're garbage and they let me down all year. I picked them to go to the playoff. I picked Sam Darnold to be a Heisman contender and a Heisman finalist. And Southern Cal has done absolutely nothing this year other than come out and make me look bad week in and week out for the first 2 months of the season. They're garbage. Well, what type of garbage? Well, the type of garbage that actually still has a chance of winning the Pac-12. That's how garbage the Pac-12 is. But anyway, they lose again. That's the official Uncle Lou prediction. Write it down. Save the video. Download it. Watch it later. Hey, get a smart TV. Mirror your phone to your TV. Watch Uncle Lou on the big screen in your living room with surround sound, too.